Hey guys, how's it going? Tony here with Drinking the Bourbs. Just killed another bottle. Um, kind of wanted to take a week off the educational stuff and go through my top 10 list of the bourbons that I have to have on my shelf at all times. Not really going to go through a ton of tasting notes, but I figure I'd show you the bottles that I just always have to have on hand. Funny thing is there's one or two that I don't actually have on hand right now because we finished them recently, including a bottle of New Riff, which just got finished off, and you can see there wasn't much in there anyway. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start it off. And I'll give you guys a little price point stuff, but remember, prices vary across the country, and I'm sure I'm popular all over the place. So people are probably watching me in Prague and California and the North Pole. I'm big in the North Pole. So anyway, first one, Wild Turkey 101. Now this is actually my cherry infused bottle, but high rye mash bill. My wife and I discovered very early on that we love high rye mash bills on our bourbon, and this is one of the best. I have to have this all the time. It's a great mixer. It's a great sipper. I like bourbons that are good all around. The other really nice thing about this, inexpensive, not cheap. Cheap has negative connotations. This is inexpensive at $19 a bottle, and you can almost always find this on the shelf. Now, I have seen this on sale for as low as 17, so you might find some price fluctuations out there, but this is usually going to be sub $20. The next one is actually JTS Brown, which I don't have a bottle of because we just recently finished. I shouldn't say I don't have a bottle. I have the bottle. It's in my basement in a box, but I don't have a bottle with any booze in it. Very similar to the one that I just finished. Anyway, JTS Brown is another inexpensive, not cheap, and you want the JTS Brown 100. It's got all the classic bourbon flavors in all the right amounts, and at a $15 price point, man, you can take it to a party and share it, and you're not going to have to worry about being out a $50 bottle of bourbon, and nobody there is going to complain about you sharing that bottle. This is another bottle that I absolutely love taking to a party and sharing because a lot of people have never even heard of it. A lot of people think, Jim Beam, you got the white label, you got this label, you got that label, you got the one that's hot, and you got the honey and all that. Jim Beam Double Oak, usually right over the $20 price point, usually right around 23, but I've seen this on sale sub $20 frequently. So it's not very hard to find and frequently under $20. It is a double oak, so twice barreled bourbon. It is bottled at 86 proof, so it's not very high, but it does punch up the flavor with that double barreling. So you're getting a lot of flavor at that proof point. Great sipper, great mixer, great thing to share. All bourbons are a great thing to share, technically. Next one, Old Granddad 114. This one is usually right around $30, but I have seen it on sale as low as like $25, $26. And usually when I find this, I buy two bottles at a time. At 114 proof, it's something that you can readily find, but you're not going to find another 114 proof bourbon at that price point. At that sub 30 price point, you're just not going to do it. All the flavors that you're looking for. Proof point punches it up a little bit and just makes it very robust. Great mixer. Once again, a great sipper. Holds up very well to being on ice. That is my Roomba, which has decided to interrupt the video, but that's okay. Next one up is Elijah Craig Straight Rye. This is one of our favorite mixers. Old Fashioned, Manhattan, Sazerac. It'll do all of those. Great amount of flavor, 94 proof, just an amazing bottle. Not even opened because we just recently replaced it because we go through these extremely fast as well. Russell's Reserve 10 year. Now the Russell's Reserve 10 year is usually just over $30, but I see this on sale sub 30 all the time. And Kroger in the Cincinnati area just recently had this on sale for like $24.99. So almost $7 off the standard MSRP for this bourbon. That's pretty incredible. And for a 10-year-old bourbon, you are getting a 10-year-old juice bottled at 90 proof, 90 proof. 10 years old, 90 proof, sub $30. You can't beat that. Once again, not even opened yet because we just recently bought it to replace the empties. Which brings me to my next bottle that's also not opened yet because we just bought it to replace the empties. Elijah Craig's Small Batch. Once again, 94 proof, so the same as the straight rye. This one is a little bit more expensive. This one's usually around, let's see, 32 bucks. But this one I have seen frequently at Costco's, sub 30, like 28, 27, 28 bucks. This is just something good to have on hands at all time anyway, because it's just such a solid bourbon. But once again, great mixer. This is one of our favorite mixers. The Elijah Craig Rye we usually use when we want something a little punchier, and this is what we use when we want something a little smoother. So another good one. New Riff, bottled in bond. You could very easily swap this out with the New Riff single barrel. The single barrel is going to run you around, I think, $54.99 MSRP. This is only like 40 or 45 MSRP. I found this on sale several times, sub $40. You'll almost never see the single barrel on sale though. But I personally feel like this is just as good as the single barrel. But every now and again, I just like that little punch up that the single barrel gives it. I mean, you've got a distiller going out there and picking stuff to go in a single barrel. So, but yeah, New Riff bottled in bond. You got 100 proof, 40 bucks. This is just one of the best bourbons that I've ever had in my life. I never am without New Riff. There's some up there too. So yeah, New Riff is a permanent fixture in my house. So this puts us up into the slightly higher proof point, and this one is actually slightly harder to find, the McKenna 10-year bottled in bond. So back when I fell in love with this, you were buying bottles of this for 30 bucks all day long, sitting on the shelf, nobody touching it. Wins the Spirit Awards out in San Francisco, and the next thing you know, you can't find a bottle of this to save your life. And by the time I do start finding it on the shelf again, it's 50 bucks. Well worth it. There are very few bourbons I've ever had in my life where I have said, if you increased the cost of that by 70%, I would still buy it. But this is one of them. This is a bourbon that I just absolutely have to have at all times. Last but not least, blackened American whiskey. Dave Pickerel, former master distiller from Maker's Mark. Thank you very much. Dave Pickerel and Metallica came together, made Blackened. Dave Pickerel won out, and he found the perfect blend of bourbons and ryes. And then they take those and put them in black brandy casks, put them in a warehouse, and then each one of the band members picks a playlist of Metallica music that is pumped into that warehouse. Thus, sonic resonance makes the fluid go in and out of the wood more, and it's supposed to pull the flavors out. Does it work? Possibly. Does what's in this bottle work? Definitely. This is one of the best bottles I've ever had in my life. I do like the sherry cask finish and port cask finish stuff, and so this black brandy cask finished blackened whiskey, which is already a blend done by a master distiller, then masterfully finished in these black brandy casks. And it's an interesting story too, right? I mean, if you have a favorite bandmate, you can go try to find the batch that he selected the playlist for. Just a really cool story. Great, not a bourbon, just a whiskey, but still really, really, really good. Always have to have it on hand. This is usually right around like 55 bucks. I found it on sale for 52 quite a few times. I actually have 3 bottles of it right now, 3 different batch numbers, and I want to do a side-by-side comparison on them, and we'll see what that yields, if there's any difference in flavor. Got a few seconds here, so real quick, Bro Brothers Bourbon. This is my little bonus add-in one, because this has become one of those bottles that I need to have on the shelf at all times. Super light, crisp. It's a very refreshing bourbon, to be perfectly honest. You throw this over some ice on a hot summer day, this is going to be a great drinker. If you've never tried it, it's like 28, 29 bucks for a bottle. You absolutely owe it to yourself. The first black-owned distillery in the state of Kentucky, so it's a great story to go along with it. But the juice that's in here, imagine mellow corn with just a little bit of age on it. So you got that sweet corn whiskey flavor with just a little bit of oak and a little bit of that, like a light brown sugar, just a tinge of all those great bourbon flavors sitting on top of a very sweet corn whiskey. So really good one. I highly recommend it. That's my list. If you're not a Bengals fan, I'm sorry. I got to rep my boys until the bitter end. So hopefully that's 3 more weeks at least. But anyway, if you are a Bengals fan, hoo day. And if you're a bourbon fan, cheers.